My grandfather didn't just build clocks. He trapped something inside them, a countdown to a secret he took to his grave, and now it's waking up. Philadelphia, 1795, a city of secrets hidden beneath a blanket of fog and moonlight. I walked through the cold, misty streets, my heart heavy with questions only the dead could answer. My grandfather's shop stood before me, silent and frozen, like a ghost from another era. As the door creaked open, the familiar smell of old wood and clock oil filled the air. Everything was exactly as he left it. His tools, his spectacles, and a silence that felt alive. Among the ruins of his workbench, I found it. A leather-bound journal titled The Gears of Fate. But fate was already calling. A small brass key slid from the pages, echoing through the hollow shop. It belonged to the grandfather clock in the corner, the one clock that never once ticked in my lifetime. The key turned with a heavy metallic click, and the shadows within the wood began to shift. Inside, it wasn't brass or iron. It was something else. Glowing gears that defied the laws of time. And there, tied to the mainspring, was a single strand of hair, vibrating with a haunting frequency. I unfolded the final warning he left for me. Stop the spark. The countdown had begun. Every gear I examined told the same story. My grandfather wasn't just fixing clocks. He was building a gateway. Then I heard it, a faint metallic whisper coming from within the wood,
Eleanor!
like 1,000 tiny voices trapped in time. The fog outside felt heavy. A shadow stood there watching, a silent observer in a three-cornered hat. Hidden beneath the clutter, I found a blueprint, a map of the city, but with gears connecting every street and house. Inside the clock's heart lay a brass locket. The same symbol, the same secret my family has guarded for generations. A floorboard creaked behind me. I grabbed the only weapon I had, my heart hammering against my ribs. Suddenly, the hands began to spin. Backward, a grinding sound tore through the silence as sparks danced in the air. The door groaned open. A figure stepped out of the night, cloaked in shadows and mystery. I stood my ground, demanding answers. He pointed to the clock, his eyes cold and filled with a warning I couldn't yet understand. Then a thick blue mist began to leak from the gears. The air turned cold, smelling of ozone and ancient copper. Stis. A bell tolled, a deafening ring, and in a heartbeat he was gone, vanished into the shadows as if he never existed. The mystery was no longer a choice. I picked up my tools. It was time to tear open the truth, whatever the cost. I followed the trail into the dark, descending a narrow staircase that felt like it was leading me out of time itself. The air in the basement was thick with dust and the smell of rusted iron, a graveyard of forgotten inventions. Behind the rotted shelves, something caught my eye, a gap where no book belonged. I reached for the hidden lever. With a heavy grinding sound, the stone wall began to yield. I stepped into a chamber that defied logic. Polished stone, clean air, a world hidden away from the 18th century. On the center table lay a shimmering blueprint. It wasn't just paper, it was glowing with a cold, silver light. The maps were impossible. They didn't show the city. They showed the stars, connected by gears and levers. And there it was, the mark of the order, an eye trapped within a gear, the architects of a future I didn't understand. A floorboard creaked above me. I froze. I wasn't the only one who knew about this room. I traced the lines to a single point in the art of Philadelphia. The machine wasn't here. It was everywhere. I placed the locket into the altar, The room began to pulse, a deep blue energy coursing through the floorboards. Then, the final wall opened, revealing the heart of the beast, a machine that could stop the world with a single tick. I stepped into the belly of the clock, where massive bronze gears hummed with a power that shook the very earth. On the wall, the golden numbers were bleeding away, 5 minutes until the world as we knew it reached its end. Fear tasted like copper in my mouth. I was alone, staring at a countdown I didn't know how to stop. I threw my entire weight against the iron lever, praying to a god I hadn't spoken to in years. A hand clamped onto my arm, cold as death. The cloaked man had found me, but his eyes weren't filled with hate. We fought in the rain of sparks and shadows, a desperate struggle for a future neither of us was sure of. "Wait!" he cried out, pointing at the ancient inscription. It wasn't a weapon, it was a shield. The machine was protecting us. The clock hit 0. A blinding white light swallowed the room, and for a moment, time itself simply stopped. When I opened my eyes, the chaos was gone. The machine pulsed with a warm, golden grace. The storm had passed. A small gear fell at my feet, engraved with 3 simple words: protect the future, my grandfather's final gift. I walked out into the first light of dawn. Philadelphia was safe, though they would never know the price of their peace. The clock in my pocket ticked softly, a steady rhythm in a world that had almost lost its heartbeat. The countdown was over.